Right, in this video I'm going to show you how to convert the envelope from a Kurzweil K2000 and also the 2500 and 2600 into an ADSR style envelope. So the first thing you need to do is pull up the default program, which is 199 on the K2000 and 2500. On the 2600, I think you have to load it in from somewhere, but once you get to the default program, you can go into Edit. And we're going to change the key map. We're not going to use piano or anything like that so that we don't have a preconceived notion of what we want the sound to be like. So we'll just punch up a sawtooth. And there it is. As you can hear, it's set to full sustain. So now we're going to look at the, as you can see, all the frequencies are off. There's no algorithm loaded. Just a quick, if you didn't know, on the output, if you scroll down, that's your pan. If you ever have a patch and you want to pan something, obviously that's the effect. And then we'll go to more. We'll go to the amp envelope. By the way, envelope 2 and envelope 3, yes, they're wonderful modulators, but they're bipolar, which means they can generate negative values. And I found if you want to use this one as your main modulator, if you know the JX3P that only has one envelope, and it modulates pitch, filter cutoff, and the amplitude as well. So we're going to kind of borrow from the old JX. We hit amp on, and it gets to the natural setting. Every key map and every set of patches, every set of samples in the Kurzweil has a preset envelope, which kind of helps you if you want to build programs. You don't have to work with the envelopes at all. But if you want to do some, in-depth or some deeper programming, you'll need to access the actual envelope itself, which you do by just hitting the plus key. And there it is. There's the amplitude envelope. As you can see, there are 3 attacks. Decay 1, which is interesting because there is only one decay. Release 1, release 2, release 3. Talk about please release me. And then on the bottom, you've got a percentage. These are your levels. So there's actually 13 parameters here. No wonder this multi-stage envelope system was generally abolished, I think. I don't think people use this anymore. It's pretty much ADSR. So we're going to use this shape, and we're going to create ADSR. The first thing we'll do is go to release 3, and that is your release time. That's just release 3. You don't need the other 2. There's your release. And if you scroll across, you'll see one of the values is set to 100%. Now, I did a similar video, envelope conversion video for the DX7. It was about the same, really. I don't think it had quite this many parameters, though. And the first thing you'll notice, or one of the things you'll notice about this envelope system, is there's no sustain level. You look across, you see attacks, yes, and release, but there's no sustain level. I'm sure it says somewhere in the gazillion-page manual, which is a great manual, don't get me wrong. There's incredible depth into these synths. But when you're sitting here looking at this page and you're like itching to get into some programming, you're like, where's my sustain level? Well, it's this one here, the one marked 100%. And we know that because if we turn that to punch it up as turn it to 0 or punch up a 0, there's nothing there. And if I go up to deck 1, and then give it a little bit of time, maybe a second and a bit. So there is our decay parameter. So decay 1 is the decay. Now, I don't know if you know this, but in ADSR envelopes, if you let go of the key before the decay has finished, it'll jump to the release section. So if I hold the keys down and then let go, there's no release. But if I play staccato, it jumps to the release section because I let go of the keys. It generates note off before the decay is finished. So then it jumps to the release. So this is kind of useful if you want to create percussive sounds that you could control whether they release. Let's make that a bit shorter, whether they release or not. So you hold it down, even a bit shorter. So there's the muted sound. Anyway, that's just by the by. So there's your decay. And it means this 100%, that what used to be 100%, is your sustain level. You've got a sustain now. And if you go to attack 1, leave it at 100%. When you think about ADSR envelopes, there's only one level, the sustain level, and we just found that. That's right here. So you don't need an attack level if you want to think of it as ADSR. You just go to the attack time and slow that. So that would be your pads, if you want to look for your pads. For your organ type sounds, you want the sustain to be at 100% or pretty much close to that. And then, of course, it has looping options, which we're not going to deal with here. So I'll put that up on the screen. So as you can see, attack is attack 1, just at the top line is all you need to adjust. And then decay 1 it actually has 2 purposes. It's the decay and it's the sustain level. And then release 3 is the release time. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope to hear back from you. I am going to get my K2000 patches up here. I've had quite a few requests for them. Unfortunately, I was working on some programs, and the power went out, and the battery backup wasn't strong enough to hold it. So I lost a lot of my patches, although I had saved some onto floppy. So I'm building up my library again, but I will make that available. So hopefully this has been of use to you. Please let me know. I'd love to hear how you get on with your programming. As I said, you can use this amp envelope as a modulator, filter, frequency, and so on. So thank you so much for watching. And as ever, I appreciate the comments. And happy synthing. And if you're still here, I'm going to show you a quick trick while we're still rolling here. One of the quick things I like to do is once I've got a basic type sound set up like that, I go to dup layer, and it's created layer 2. And so what I do is I mute, there's a mute, just out of shot, there's a mute button. I've muted layer 1, so that's layer 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the pitch menu, and I'm going to have I think, is it 141? The amplitude envelope, there it is right there. Control the pitch. Bit more. And if I unmute the first layer, a bit much, isn't it? I can go to the key map of layer 2 and just change the waveform. Go to the effects and just put a bit of sweet reverb on there. Go to the output, and this is layer 2, so I can put layer 2 on the left, and then I can put layer I can put layer 1 on the right. Then if you want to add one more, you can go back to the layers again, and you can duplicate the layer. So now layer 3 is created. So I'll mute the first 2. And now we're listening to layer 3. We'll put layer 3 in the middle, and we can go onto the pitch envelope. And we can have the that envelope shape that we have, just make it go down. And then we can go to the envelope shape, and we can just slightly change the attack on that, so it's not quite, and make the decay longer. And now we can unmute the others. Go to the pitch. It seems a little bit too much pitch. As I say, this is kind of wasn't expecting to do this, but I thought, why not? Go to the key map of number 3, and we can change that as well. too organy, isn't it? Let's do the very dull saw. And while we're here, might as well keep going if anyone's still watching. Another thing I like to do for the effect, you can control the wet amount with the high key, oops, and increase so that the higher up you play, and of course, you know, we haven't even plugged in a single filter or anything. That's just some fun you can have once you've got the amp envelope set. Then you can duplicate the layers and go in and tweak some parameters, and you've got your, you know, a 3-layer sawtooth without any filtering or anything. So that gets you started, I hope. And again, thanks for watching, and I appreciate all your views and comments. So thanks so much.